everyone, and welcome back to another video where we're going to be doing a perk tier list for Devour's Inn map, the Inn. First thing we're going to do is establish that the S tier for this perk tier list right here is a perk that is good for every single difficulty mode for the map. After that, A tier is for things that are mostly always useful but not as useful, or not useful in every single tier. B tier is just supplementary good. After that, we have the C tier and D tier. Commented something? Hell yeah! Hello, welcome to the chat. I hope you're enjoying the stream. Right now, we're going to be doing a perk tier list for the Asylum. For the Inn on Devour. So first, perk up to look at is going to be Crawler. Crawler gives you plus 100% movement speed when knocked down. This is a large map, so it's going to go back into the C tier, but it's always better for you to crawl back to the safe spot than for people to go to you. And since there is a safe spot on this map for people to be able to resurrect you from, or pick you up, or however you want to say it, Crawler is going to be better than the faster pickup speeds in this one. It's still not a very good perk to use, just because if you're doing everything right, you shouldn't have to use this one, but it's one of those maps where things can go wrong quick, so it's still one of those perks that you might want to keep in your back pocket, but everything else up here will still be far more useful than Crawler. After that, we have Acceleration, plus 20% movement speed for 20 seconds after being picked up. This is actually going to go into D tier, because if you're where you're supposed to be, which is the laundry room in the inn, you're right beside a safe zone where Zara and Azazel can't get you. There's no point to moving faster, just jump up and be safe. So down into the D tier it goes. Next up is Long-Sighted. All items highlighted at 50% greater distance. This is actually one of those absolute D tier perks for the inn, because there's such short sight ways for the inn. By the time you get to something, you can see it coming. Like if you're in the cave, you can already see the spider with the egg. You don't need the egg highlighted, you can just see it by benefit of your flashlight. In all the other spaces on the map, you can see everything anyway. There's no real distance to have to try and wonder if something's there or not, so you don't really need long-sighted. Up next is Quartermaster. Medkits are highlighted through walls. Again, this is one of those, it's back into C tier, but you should already have somebody who has gathered all the medkits that you can have on the map and have them down in the laundry room anyway. And if you've gone through that many medkits, this isn't going to help you, because, yeah, sure, you can see it through the wall, but you're still going to have to get through all the minions. Hope Zara isn't on you, and somebody should already be in the safe zone anyway, and you should not have to go through something like 10 medkits in a match of the inn once you start understanding what you're doing. Supply Runner. Welcome back to S tier. Supply Runner. Supply Runner, you're going to have an egg with you almost all the time, because you guys are running around and hunting eggs. If you're not hunting eggs, you're bringing the eggs to the safe zone, or you're bringing the eggs to be burned. So Supply Runner gives you 15% speed basically the entire match, so long as you are doing what you're supposed to be doing. And just because you can, it lets you, especially in the end game, when you need that speed, it can let you just push through and get to your objective faster. Though also in the end game, you kind of want to manipulate the eggs and the spawns and stuff like that to where the closest shrines are going to be the ones you have to get to. So being able to get to them faster is always a positive thing. Speedy on this map, this is actually not that large of a map. Speedy's not that amazing like it would be in Asylum. So Speedy's actually getting brought down to the A tier, just because, actually, you know what, I'll toss it into S tier. Oh gosh, it's hard for me to say S tier or A tier. You know what, I'm gonna go ahead and give it S tier, just because it's useful in every single mode of the Asylum. Normal, hard, nightmare. 7% extra speed. That can be the difference between you getting caught by spiders and not being caught by spiders. So I'm gonna give Speedy S tier. It's probably gonna sit at the bottom of S tier. High A tier if you really want to argue about it. But having a constant 7% speed with no requirements, you can't really ask for much more. there's a little bit more you can ask for, but when it comes to speed, 7%, no caveat, very good. After that, Fast Worker. Fast Worker is actually going to come right here at the top of S tier, if I can get it to actually sit there, because there are 3 times when Fast Worker can come in handy. You're cleansing the water, you're cleansing the egg, or you're burning the egg. These are awesome. This is an awesome perk for the end because it works in 3 different sections. And basically, if you're the one using Fast Worker, if everybody's using Fast Worker, you can burn those eggs super fast, get back down to the safe zone faster. If you're the only one using Fast Worker, guess what? When everybody says 1, 2, 3, burn, you're going to be done halfway through everybody else's burn, and you can already start making your way back to the safe zone or grabbing supplies or anything like that. Fast Worker is an absolutely amazing perk for this map. Next up, after Fast Worker, we have Repellent. Movement speed is decreased by 70% or 50% when you are nearby. The spiders aren't very fast to begin with. Even at their fastest, they're still not that fast of an enemy that you have to worry about. I'd probably put this into D tier just because, hello, here we go, probably high D tier. Just because, A, you have to be nearby, and if you know what you're doing, you're never going to really get caught by the spiders for the most part anyway. You know, you can just kind of like hop through them and kind of avoid all the damage that you would normally get. Or you can sit at the bathhouse and jump from one side to the other and just kind of manipulate them there, or you can be in the safe zone. There's plenty of options other than running through them and slowing them down. Slowing them down is not really going to do too much on the end. So it has more uses probably in the end than anywhere else, but it's still a D tier perk, I would say. Next up is Regeneration. UV recharges faster, 50% faster than normal. It's solidly at the top of A tier, I think. This is good in normal mode. This is good in hard mode. Can't use it in nightmare mode, unfortunately. But in normal and hard, while you're getting used to the map, where hard is that sweet spot that like people usually like to go into to get their XP farm and stuff like that in. Being able to say, yeah, I've got 50% faster UV makes you better against all the spiders that can really start to add up. Makes you better against Zara when she starts to freak out, especially if you're the one who can like kind of tease her around the kind of infinite loop at the bathhouse. Being able to stun her multiple times faster than anybody else can, or stun her, let somebody else stun her, and by the time that's done, you're about ready for the 3rd stun to get her passive again. Regeneration just really, really puts in a lot of work for you, but it is A tier, top of A tier. I wouldn't put it in S tier. It can't go into S tier because it does not work in nightmare mode. After Regeneration, we have Field Medic, revive players 50% faster. Again, this is one of those things that actually, it is useful, but it's not needed because you can revive people safely on this map, without having to worry about getting caught. So it's not something that's ever really needed. You can take your time with the revivals as long as everybody's already brought the medkits down to the laundry room, and the person who's down crawls to the laundry room. It's a safe zone. You never have to worry about how much time you have to revive somebody, just how much time you have to pick up that item and get back to the safe zone, which should be about 2 seconds, if that. After Field Medic, we have Fully Charged. UV charge is not consumed for 20 seconds after using a battery. Again, I'm going to say it every single time. I wish they would change the wording because it's after you equip a battery, not after you use a battery. There is a huge difference. But this can put in really good work on hard mode and nightmare mode. Normal mode, not so much. The more difficult the mode is, the more useful this perk is. But unfortunately, this perk has that huge caveat of always having to carry around a battery instead of an egg, or water, or a med kit, something like that. You have to carry around a battery, and it only activates immediately after you equip the battery. That's when your 20 seconds start. So situational, but extremely powerful, and powerful in every single tier of difficulty. Just not as useful as more constant UV, and that's just the only thing. Like this right here works in 2 modes consistently. This works in all 3, but only for 20 seconds after you equip a battery, which is, in normal mode, you can equip battery after battery after battery after battery. The problem is, if you equip a battery, when it's full, it doesn't do anything, and in nightmare mode, there's only 2 batteries at any given time. You can have one charge and one waiting, but unfortunately, you have to use up that charge before you can equip the next battery. So it's kind of a double-edged sword, not being able to, do anything else other than hold that battery. After fully charged, we have supercharged, 20% movement speed for 20 seconds after using a battery. This is, once again, it's right down here. This could have been such a better perk, but the way it is right now, the moment you equip a battery, you get 20% extra movement speed. It's just fully charged in a more roundabout way, and in the end, it's not going to really do anything except for maybe help you get to the safe zone a little bit faster. But anywhere in the end, if you stun Zara for, at any point, you can probably get to the safe zone anyway. Unless you're in, say, like, the cave, which is, like, the complete opposite side of the map. But if you're in the actual inn itself, you're probably going to be able to safely get to Zara. Safely get to the safe zone. So you don't have to worry about that too much. After supercharge is Trapper, last ritual item becomes highlighted. Again, this can be one of those that's like, sort of, maybe, kinda. It's okay. We have, I would probably put it into B tier, just because this is a map where if one thing goes wrong in the end, you're going to be looking for an egg that you can't find, and unfortunately, if that's the last egg, a spider has already grabbed it, guaranteed, and is already wandering off with it. You don't have to wonder where it is. You can point at the map and just go, this is where it is. Follow me, we'll get it. So it has its uses. It can be useful, but honestly, you should never have to use it. Like I said in some of my other tier list videos, you have 4 people on your team. There are at least 5 to 6 perks up in S and A tier for you to use. Once you go to B tier, you're kind of like betting on niche situations, and then C and D tier, you're either betting on like even more niche situations, or you're going for things that you just don't want to really be that useful. After Trapper comes Evader, plus 25% movement speed when being chased by Azazel. This is actually not as good on this map as it is on any other map, because literally anyone can loop Azazel infinitely on this map if you just stand at the bathhouse and just jump from one side to the other in the one little spot that forces her to go back and forth. You don't need the extra speed to do it. It wouldn't help you anyway. So, honestly, Evader's okay, but it's not even as useful as Trapper in this map, because if you thought the Asylum was tight, the Inn is even tighter. And it is swarming, literally, with spiders. When it comes to like the higher levels of the more ritual items that have been sacrificed. So while Evader is useful, it actually goes down 2 pegs from the Asylum to B tier, because it's just not as useful in the end. There's not as many loops, and anybody can use the one loop to loop her infinitely until she finally gets tired of you and wanders off to somebody else. Next, we have Immune. Movement speed decreased by 70% less when slowed by a minion. Now, here's a map where Immune is finally useful. It's finally useful in the fact that it goes into C tier above D tier. And it becomes useful because now the minions for the inn, the spiders, they actually slow you instead of stop you in your tracks. So this says I can ignore 70% of that, and I can just keep plowing on. Here's the problem with that, is that it can teach you bad habits instead of just saying, yeah, I'm just going to, hop through these spiders. I'm just going to run through all of them and not care. That can actually get you into trouble, just running through spiders instead of trying to avoid spiders. And eventually means you're going to take more damage than you would have if you had just avoided them and hopped through the 1 or 2 that you actually had to encounter. So, is it good? I mean, it kinda can be if you really need to run through a horde of spiders, but do you need to run through the horde of spiders, or can you avoid most of them and hop over 1 or 2? The latter is just the better option. So yes, it's useful, but you should not have to want to even do that anyway. After immune comes team leader. Long interacts are 100% faster when around any alive player. Okay, so this actually was like A or B tier, I believe, in my Asylum video. It's going down to C tier in this video. Actually, you know what? I can probably put it right around low B tier instead of C tier. Just because while this does let you, stand around and make, cleansing the water faster, cleansing the eggs faster, it's not going to help you burn eggs faster unless you're literally walking around with somebody and letting them burn their egg first. Doesn't really help you. And then if you're all spread out, burning 4 separate eggs, again, it doesn't really help you. Now, if you're going to go a 4-2-4 strategy, which is a perfectly fine strategy for the inn, you might choose instead to, do the 4, which won't help you, and then do the 2, and you back up one of those 2 people. But again, it's not going to help because, yeah, that person did their egg faster, but now this person's laid out to dry. So it in that situation doesn't really help. It can be useful for the last egg, or last eggs, one of those 2, like last 2 eggs, and then it can be really useful if you're like standing guard at the bathhouse, letting people cleanse the water and cleanse the eggs and stuff like that. Then you're useful. But again, all of these are probably more. Actually, I would probably say this is more useful than Evader. So I wouldn't say bottom B tier, mid B tier. Mid B tier is probably where team leader goes. Last but not least, I need. Yeah, I'd still say mid B tier. Last but not least is under pressure. Long interactions are 100%, 50% faster when you are the last player alive. Right about there in D tier, because there's only 2 things that you're probably going to be doing if you're the last player alive, and that's either getting the last egg and burning it, or reviving somebody. And we've already discussed on this map, you don't have to have faster revives because you already have a place that's safe for you to revive from. So that kind of negates that. The only other thing is burning the last egg, and if you have the last egg, that's fine, but you still have to get through all the spiders and avoid Azazel, or you have to hunt the last egg, and this doesn't help you hunt the last egg. You have to kill the spiders around the last egg and the spider that's killing the last egg, or that's holding the last egg, and doesn't help you with that. All it does is help you do is burn that last egg. You shouldn't have to cleanse it. It should already be cleansed. So really, this is so situational that it's probably right around there. That's how situational it is. But that's the tier list that we have for Devour's the Inn map. Hope you guys found this informative. If you agree or disagree on where some of these are placed, let me know down in the comments. I'm interested to hear your theories, hear your justifications. I'd like to have that kind of, dialogue. If you enjoyed the video, maybe give it a thumbs up, maybe subscribe. Hope you all have a great day, and as always, stay positive.